This is your Weather Extreme video for Sunday, August the 3rd. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. There's a look at the temperature trace from my station yesterday, and interesting to note was those showers approached. We had a shower move nearby between about 1 and 2 o'clock, and that dropped temperatures just a few degrees, but then the real rain came, and that dropped temperatures down into the lower 70s. That was very refreshing. Not only that, ended up with nearly 1.5 inches of precipitation. A little more than I expected, to be honest with you. There's a look at the Skycam image this morning from the Hamilton Skycam as we look out over the lights of Hamilton there. And interesting cloud view from Birmingham. It looks like almost like the edge to the cloud deck as we look out there over the Skycam from Alpha Skycam Network. Surface pattern still involves a series of little weak low pressures along the Gulf Coast. And in the upper atmosphere, the little trough that we've been dealing with continues to be a bit of a pesky problem. However, it looks like the trough axis has moved just enough to put us into slightly drier northwesterly flow. And when we look at the water vapor imagery, we can see that slightly drier northwesterly flow across much of the Tennessee River Valley with those orange and rust-colored values. The temperatures this morning starting out generally in the lower 70s, a little bit cooler across the Tennessee River Valley where they're in the upper 60s thanks to that slightly drier air. Precipitation not nearly as prevalent on the radar this morning across the southeastern U.S., and QPF is quantitative precipitation forecast is going to be down. Once again, it'll be spotty because if you're in a shower, especially with these slow-moving showers, you could get a nice rain like I did yesterday. But for the most part, I think the better chances for showers today are going to be generally south of about Clanton, Prattville area and down across the South Alabama area. Storm Protection Center is not outlooking a specific slight risk area across the United States for day one. That's today and into early Monday. And day two, the same. See text primarily there in the Central Plains and the western U.S. And in the tropics, Bertha has moved by Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and is moving into the southeastern Bahamas, the National Hurricane Center forecast track. It's still somewhat disorganized and just, I don't know, barely hanging on to its status as a tropical storm. We do expect to move through the Bahamas as it begins to curve to the north and then to the northeast, and it may become a hurricane as it's passing off to the northwest of Bermuda. And the good news is that the track continues to be nicely forecast by the various models and not much variation in the model forecasts. All right, let's get to the 06Z GFS model run this morning and some differences between that and the European. So our confidence not really high in some of the later days, but let's take a look at what's happening for today. And we see that GFS forecasting some showers, especially along the southern coastline area, and primarily we're seeing looking at precipitable water values, and we're seeing the higher precipitable water values along the coast, and you can see slightly drier air across Tennessee that's moved into North Alabama, and I think that's going to suppress the showers a little bit. The pesky trough axis is just to our east, and I mean just to our east, but that keeps us in that slightly drier northwesterly flow on Monday. And so while we can't rule out the possibility of some isolated showers, I think the greater threat is a little bit further to the south. And once again, the precipitable water showing that gradient with higher amounts to the south. So that would indicate that just an isolated possibility. The flow becomes a little bit more northwesterly on Tuesday, and as it does, I think that we dry out just a little bit more. So Tuesday and perhaps even Wednesday, as the pattern flattens just a little bit, we could see almost no showers, but it's kind of hard to take showers out of the forecast completely. By the time we get to Thursday, we're seeing a little bit of a trough moving through the southeastern Canadian area and the eastern Great Lakes, and that will help to bring showers down into the Ohio River Valley with a front. I don't think the front's going to get down our way as the trough moves on pretty quickly, and we continue to see a bit of a northwesterly flow for us on Friday. So once again, I just think the possibility that we'll see showers with a fairly moist atmosphere over the southeastern U.S. Saturday, a week from yesterday, we see the flow becoming a little more ridginess to it, with the strengthening of the ridge across the southern tier of the United States. But the idea of the troughiness is still there as we get out to Sunday, a week from today. And looking out into voodoo country, not much change in voodoo. It's been pretty consistent with the idea of keeping the troughiness over the eastern half of the country, so that keeps the heat at bay, any extreme heat at bay. But we do see, as we have seen for the last several days, the flattening of that trough, and therefore kind of the building of the ridging across the southern tier of the United States. That'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one posted first thing on Monday morning. In the meantime, I'll be filling in for Megan as she's filling in for James Spann. So I'll be filling in for her at the 5 and 10 o'clock news on ABC 3340 this evening. Have a great day, and Godspeed.